This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pointy Bakery. If you're located in the Pointy area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pointy Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so yesterday, see why we didn't do the podcast yesterday? Well, I guess when you're listening to this, you don't really know what time it is, and if I upload it today, yeah. But anyways, when the time we're recording this, it's September 12th. Well, I guess we couldn't yesterday. We were both really, really busy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yesterday was September 11th, and Netflix dropped, what was that thing called? The documentary you're watching right now.
It's called Turning Point.
Turning Point, yeah. So it dropped Turning Point, multi-part series. There's like 5 episodes, about an hour each. Yeah, I gotta watch it. I picked up Looming Tower because we've been talking about doing it for getting into it for a while. Mm-hmm. I just felt like with the whole Afghanistan thing, like leaving Afghanistan and 9/11, and yeah, seemed like a good time to pick up the book. But that book and the series had been out for a while. Looming Tower, you were always talking about it as a Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime. So it's still on Prime. You can check that out. It's like a dramatized series of events that leads up to 9/11. But the book is more, at least where I'm in the book. Well, I guess so the book is told like a story as well. So that's kind of like how the TV show is.
Yeah, it's just, as well. It is a story. I don't know. I think the events, of course, the events are real, but I don't know like the specific things between characters are real, right?
Oh yeah, okay. The dramatization's not real, right. This book isn't really about the dramatization. It's more about like how it led up to 9/11. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the documentary Turning Point is, it starts off with not really what Looming Tower is about. Like you were saying, it's, well, you watched it, the full thing.
Yeah.
So
no, it's just like how it happened, like where, like this, or America's connection to like the Taliban or Afghanistan, I would say, right?
Yeah.
It started from 1979, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's like I mean, I would say it's one of America's. They would say that too. It's one of America's biggest intelligence failure. What happened with 9/11?
Well, yeah, it was like their biggest attack, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing I can think about, like when they've used that kind of term before, intelligence failure, was also Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that was actually another big attack.
Yeah.
Interesting. But the
difference was like that was a military base, right, that they attacked, versus this was civilian.
And it was like it dealt with like hijacking of planes and stuff like that.
Yeah. And just
oh, and also, sorry, a side note, Worth is also out as well. I was watching that. I haven't finished it yet, but that one is so trippy as well because it's like a bunch of personal stories. Mm-hmm. I like, basically, it's all about compensation. Oh, I'll get into it after, but continue with it.
Yeah. So it's just, how all this happened in a single day, right? Like, it was 4 planes. That they had taken. I think they had, Al-Qaeda had at least 4 to 5 members on each plane, I think. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly. I was like, one of them's got to be the pilot. The other 3 or 4 were muscle men, right? So it's like, like it was all like prepared and how they planned it all out, and it was like, it was I would say, like a very strategically planned from Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the book, it was talking about like sleeper cells that he had in training camps, and like how they would have like students get student visas, learn how to fly.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like very methodical, very like.
It was a long game.
Yeah,
they played a very long game.
Yeah. And I mean, like, America's been attacked before. Like the Unabomber did something. The World Trade Center, you're saying, had been.
Yeah, the World Trade Center had been attacked before too. I think it was in the 90s, but that was the underground parking, right? Like they were not directly related to like Al Qaeda at the time, because Al Qaeda was just formed, I think. But they were like, they're somehow connected. But the people were connected,
right.
But it was just,
this wasn't their big attack. Like they were, like it was, it was a smaller attack that meant to do. Not as much
there was a line.
Yeah,
there was a line in there where they had caught that guy and they're taking him to prison or something, and they were in the helicopter, and he said, "See, the towers are still up. You failed." And then the guy replied to, either it was FBI, whoever the agent was there, the person that did it. He replied, "If I had more money,
they wouldn't be
standing."
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so that one didn't work. All right, let's recalibrate. And but you know what's weird to think about? This kind of stuff is probably going on all the time. Like the Russians are probably doing it, the Chinese probably doing it.
No, what I would say is, like, yes, there are. I would think there are more of these things that are happening, but they're being stopped.
Yeah, exactly. Totally,
that we don't hear about.
Yeah.
And there's probably
24. You love 24, right? Oh, dude, that brought me back, because like stopping this stuff and like it's the stuff you don't hear.
No, there's
about.
a lot that happens that we do hear. Some of the stuff whenever they do come out that they've stopped something, but they're not as big news, or we don't exactly remember those.
Yeah,
but there are many of those that do happen.
Yeah, totally.
Right, and there's a few of these that fall through.
Do you remember that thing in Kingsman when he goes into the office and it's just a bunch of like newspapers that have nothing to do with any terrorist attack, and then he's like, all of these newspapers where terrorists like stopped attacks, and it reminds him that like they did the good job because nobody knew about it. So on that day, whatever the headline news was, it wasn't the attack that they stopped.
Yeah.
And it's like it's weird, because like when you first think about it, it's like, oh, okay, that it's like you take it in superficially, but now that we're like actually deconstructing and really thinking about how much, like, if you actually delve into this, okay, people think it's like an inside job. I don't think that's true. But if you actually delve into the history behind all of this, it's pretty, like, it's very doable. Like it must be happening all the time. We just really don't, like, it's very I don't know what the word is. It's really practical and like realistic. It's not like, okay, so like, oh, we're gonna attack this place, and you're like, okay, that sounds so airy fairy, they have so many bases, blah blah blah, right? But when you actually look at the methodical, let's call it what it is, genius behind it, it's like it took a lot of planning to get through everything. I mean, that's not to discount all the lives that got lost, of course, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, we never think it can happen till it happens, but the people stopping the attacks know how realistic and easily doable it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many more that do get caught or stopped, right? So that's also like our level of intelligence is good in some ways. Sure, there's failures. That's why I said it's one of the biggest failures, but there were many. I wouldn't say America's.
And when you say, because like when you said our level of intelligence, I was like, I thought you meant you and me, and then I was like, oh no, you meant America.
Right. Yeah. But like we don't realize, like, there's between our nations with them in America, like the intelligence programs that we have, or the industries, not the industries, like they
are being shared.
Yeah, they communicate very often.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but just like, but that's the Allies, right? If you look at World War II, it's like, nations, like Britain will content. Like if you watch any James Bond movie, right? They're like, oh, speak to the Americans about that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But they never say like, speak to the KGB because they're not allies.
Yeah.
You know, it's really weird. I know, like last week's podcast was all about like the world you don't see, but this is also another one of those world you don't see because we take superficially for granted our lives, but the security that goes behind making this all possible is like really trippy to think about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So like Turning Point was really good in that sense, like explaining the stories of the survived ones, right? And all the people that we lost.
Yeah. Not
just in the, again, yeah, Americans lost, sorry.
Yeah. It's because you got that American flag over here. You identify as being an American, so it's like, all right.
So it's like,
Superman's your favorite.
Sure, yeah. But like, it wasn't just, we didn't just,
That's so funny. What a Freudian slip, bro. Okay. But you've always been a big fan of that. Like, we used to argue about this as kids. You're like, America's the best. So like, no, it's not Canada. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, so it's like...
You've been Team America for a while,
yeah, so, you know, they didn't just lose people in the towers.
Yeah.
It was also in the other planes that were... One that hit the Pentagon and the other one that they talked about there too was the... passengers. Some of the passengers heard about what happened and they knew what they were trying to do with their plane, so they
what was it, flight something?
It's called United 93, I think it was.
The movie, right?
Yeah, but the plane is United 93.
Okay.
The passengers in that plane were able to basically stop these guys, but by crashing the whole plane down.
It's weird because
that plane they thought was either going to hit the White House or the Capitol building, and I think it was what they say was it was going to be the Capitol building because that's a bigger thing to hit.
Yeah,
the White House is kind of small actually.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
So that
relatively.
Yeah. So those the civilians on that plane were able to bring it down before they can hit. Yeah, it was like it was a sacrifice. What they did.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's interesting to think too that to us this is something that happened in our lifetime, but there's a whole generation that has like this is just history to them, and I'm wondering like how long before it becomes like acceptable to talk. Like we're kind of talking about it nonchalantly without reverence, you know, but during that time if you referred to it you had to like express reverence, you know. So I'm wondering like is there like when is the grace period, like when is it long enough for you to be like okay we can talk about it normally now as like an event that happened?
I think that takes time because people are still alive
years, true
that have experienced it. And
that's what Worth showed me. It was the movie Worth is all about, which is really fascinating too. Because okay, so you can cripple a country through a terrorist attack, sure. Like, I think with the real, okay, if this is actually if the foresight was this good, that is pretty genius. You have to acknowledge it. It is like if we're just looking at it as like a strategic like battle from history, you know, if we're just looking at it as a strategic battle. It wasn't like
he planned it out very well. So like
let's call this Genghis Khan time. Like if we look at it like objectively, it's like okay, like look at it.
But you have to acknowledge he accomplished his mission.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but all right. So what I was thinking about when I watched Worth, I was like, I didn't even think about this aspect of it. But it's not the fact that the towers fell that was bad, but it's the financial ramification from the towers falling. So what they said in the movie Worth is if they couldn't figure out a package to give people and everyone started suing the government or whatever, it would bankrupt America. It would cripple the economy, right? And I was like, was that the real game? Did he know that this was also an aspect of it? It's like, yeah, okay, so I brought your financial towers down. But it's just like, remember Fight Club?
Yeah.
When he blew up the credit card towers at the end? And it's like, yeah, this will bring down the financial industry. But it wouldn't because everything's on the cloud. So it's like, it's not actually stored in those buildings. Maybe back then, but
yeah.
you know,
Right.
But like now, it's like that's not an issue. If you blow up the building, it's like, yeah, but it's on the cloud. You have to blow up the servers. So if he knew that, then would it be that he knew that also that the financial ramifications of everyone suing afterwards would destroy the economy as well? Because that's what the whole movie Worth is about.
Right.
And then they had to figure out what is an acceptable number that they can give to people.
Settlement,
What?
Of a settlement.
Yeah, settlement number.
Yeah.
So like the whole movie's about convincing people not to sue the government and figuring out what amount they can give to not cripple the economy. It was like a balancing act.
Right.
But they couldn't tell the people that until like years
See,
later.
that's because maybe they didn't know that, because it's like they were hitting directly civilians, right? If they had hit a base,
it's like, okay,
well, that's the job of a soldier, right?
That's what I mean. So it's like, did he know that aspect of it? Dude, there's been so many movies now that I'm like another one was the Vietnam War. What was that one we saw? The Post.
Yeah.
So that was another one. They knew that the Vietnam War was what they were losing, but they wanted to shape the American minds. So it's like, again, I don't know, like how far-reaching is your strategic plan? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you really look at it like that, it's like that is insane foresight. Like you could be a multi-billionaire CEO if you use that exact same obsession on making money.
Right.
But he used it for his holy war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know, like if he knew about all that stuff, but there were other things that were interesting that I didn't know before, where it's like he knew they're going to find out that it's him. Right.
Okay.
So how can we like
evade?
So yeah, it's like, what is America going to do to come and attack us, right? Because generally got to set up base like next to the country kind of thing, right? When you're coming in, but like none of the allies, like they're not American allies. Direct.
Actually, wait. To preface all of this, the reason why he knew all these things is because he was trained by the Americans, right? He had their intelligence.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, so because it's like, well, how would he know how to do that? Is that just standard operating procedure for war? It's like, no, but he worked with them, and that's something we all forget.
Yeah, he did.
That's the part we glazed over.
Yeah, they work with many groups.
Okay,
right?
wait, hold on, wait.
And they didn't really take them. They didn't take. So they didn't. When they first heard about Osama bin Laden coming into Afghanistan, because basically what happened in 1979 was the Soviets came into Afghanistan.
Cool.
This is what started it all. Americans thought that that's, we can't allow that to happen. So they were paying all these tribes in Afghanistan to fight against the Soviets, and then they heard about some guy coming in. They just thought it was just a financier because he was coming in, I think, from Saudi Arabia, who had money, and he brought construction equipment that they were using.
Okay.
So they just viewed him only as a financier.
Okay.
Eventually, after they won against the Soviets, Osama bin Laden had been kind of eyeing his target on America, that America is the same kind of country. They're not here to protect us Muslims.
You're right.
They're only there for themselves and oil.
Right.
But at the time,
which, let's pause here. To be fair, you can see that viewpoint.
Yeah, sure. But at that point, he had a hard time convincing his people because they saw, well, America helped us though.
Right. But you see what I mean? It's like I can get that viewpoint too. Like if you understand global economics, global politics, global relationships, business, because he was a financier, you understand how this game is played.
Yeah.
And he was also devout to his religion. So he's like, okay, I understand how the world really works. I want the best for my people and my religion.
Yeah, he comes from a rich family.
So he's not undereducated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not.
You understand how this game works.
Yeah.
And imagine trying to be like Neo in the Matrix, trying to tell everyone this is what's going on, but nobody wants to believe you.
Right.
Because it's so easy to paint him as a bad person. But I think everything in history is like not black and white. You know?
Yeah, of course. There's something that
like nothing in life is
takes
black
them
and
in
white.
a certain way, and that.
Right, like that's why I like the whole Tao symbol, right? There's a piece of the good in the bad, and there's a piece of the bad in the good, because it's like everyone hates Hitler, but I'm sure somebody loved Hitler, like his dog, his cat, something. I'm sure he was nice to someone. His wife
or girlfriend at the time.
Right?
I think it was his wife. But yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
like there's a piece of goodness in them, but just like the good person, there's a piece of bad in the good person. You know, so we should never forget that. So it's like that's why life is all gray.
Yeah,
it's not really black and white.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, what convinced everybody?
Sorry. Last thing about black and white, because I had this conversation recently, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the only thing in life that's black and white. Your actions are the only thing that are black and white, because either you did it or you didn't do it.
Right. Okay.
Your intention behind it can be gray, but what you did and did not do is black and white, because it's binary. So either you did it or you didn't do it. You know?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay, sure. So then there's a Kuwait War that happened.
Okay.
That Kuwait War is what convinced everybody, like, okay, Osama's probably correct, because they're only here.
Interesting.
They're only here because they only went into Kuwait along with, I think it was, I don't know if it was Saudi Arabia or UAE. I don't remember which one, but that's to stop the Iraq invasion into Kuwait for the oil.
Okay.
So then they kind of knew, okay, America's just there for the oil. They're not really here to protect Muslims in that sense. So I think that's what started all. But the person that Osama was following at the time said that as long as I'm a leader, you cannot attack America on American soil.
Okay.
So what they did was attack America on non-American soils, which was embassies in African countries.
Wow. All right.
So that was in the Looming Tower.
Okay. I haven't gotten there.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Like that's what they were doing and planning out. There was a big attack planned. They were even planning to kill the Pope, I think, too.
Wow.
Which was stopped.
Okay.
That plan they were able to stop.
That's good.
Ali Soufan is one of the FBI agents. He's the one that's in this video a lot too, that talks about these things.
Okay.
And he's in the Looming Tower.
Okay, cool.
Which is fascinating to see. So, like, you know, there was all these plans. They did get some things to work, but there was also many plans that they did stop. That we talked about earlier, which we don't hear about.
Right, totally.
So it's like, so this has been going on. So that's his whole mission was eventually, once that leader was gone that he was following, then he was able to attack America on American soil. But he was planning this out throughout the time, you know?
Right.
So that's the
lead up?
That's the lead up to 9/11.
Okay. Is that what the whole thing, that's it? That's what the
That's mainly the first episode's about.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the whole 5-part doc. I thought you gave us like a whole summary.
Well, the 5-part doc, finally it ends with us leaving, right?
Okay, cool.
Us as in, technically us, yeah. Because we were still there. Like Canadians went too, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's just like how it was all planned out. Then, okay, once American found out who it was, how do we attack them? So it goes into like, not just like, the sad part of what happened, people's lives lost, but also like the issues with how we went into that, or how the Americans went into that war. And some of the stuff, doing all this metadata and not just looking at internet people outside, but also looking internally. So like that was something, it changed this whole idea of how to gather information, because there were people who disagreed with what was going on within the government, American government.
Okay.
That some people even left.
Snowden.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about Snowden, but like Snowden is the one that released this information that was happening. But there were people there were people in such positions that were like, I don't think what's happening here is not legally right. So they left their jobs.
So a lot has happened since 9/11 in terms of security.
Mm-hmm.
And the world completely changed after that. Like everyone's talking.
That's what they're saying.
Snowden
It's called a turning point, right?
Yeah,
so like, it really did change a lot of stuff, because you could carry small knives onto planes.
What?
Yeah, like
that's like obviously dumb right away.
But it wasn't like
dumb because they're like, who's gonna use this? Like you never think it's a problem until it's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fascinating. And it's so funny because like now, like the newer generation who don't remember 9/11, like the younger kids, right? Anybody born after 2000 or anybody born, I guess, like even Tara doesn't really remember it. So like anyone born, I guess, in the 90s, I'd say, like if you weren't, like we were 12 and 13 during 9/11.
I think I don't know what. I was in high school, I think, when this happened.
So you were 14. All right. Yeah. I was grade 8. Grade 7. I don't know, whatever. But no, was I grade 7? No, grade 8. I think I was grade 8. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like that was our like formidable years. So like that was a big thing that happened during our formidable years. Yeah. But like people who are younger than us, that was more like I can vaguely remember that day, blah blah blah, right? Mm-hmm. And like the times that led up afterwards, you know, like I think I said this before, but like going home and like watching my dad watch the news and then watching the news with my dad and being like, oh dude, what's going on with the world? And then watching all the cleanup and like I like not vaguely, what is that word where it's like I like it's like so visible to me. It's like, so I can like see it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, okay.
I forgot the word though. It's not vaguely. Vaguely's the opposite of that word.
Yeah.
It's like
vividly.
Vividly. Thank you. It's vividly. I can vividly remember that going home every single day.
I really don't remember as much.
But maybe your parents were like not really watching it as much as my
parents.
I
remember we were watching it. I know that like I was
like for me, they never turned off CNN. They were watching that the whole time.
I think I was in class and someone said something had happened. I think I heard.
Oh no, I'm talking about the days after.
Oh, the day. I don't remember the days after.
Oh, okay.
I just remembered that day because it was.
Yeah, so maybe you just didn't.
Not like vividly, but like you know, segments of it. I would say.
But also,
I don't know if it's also like pseudo memories now.
No, but also it's like you were probably just watching Canadian news.
Yeah, I don't think I was. At that time, I don't really think I was as much interested in news.
That's what I'm saying, right? No, but like to go home and like my parents just had CNN all day watching. I mean, they still do. It's pretty funny. But like to watch them, like, you know what I mean? That's,
yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but we didn't have it on like 24 hours, right? So
we had it on 24 hours. Like, I'm telling you, like. They
maybe
like,
that's
what's
why.
Gonna happen with the world? Like they were like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I don't think I had it 24 hours. I wasn't listening to the news like 24 hours. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
only like
just hit me,
specific
like,
times when the news times were on, I guess, locally, right?
But you watch local news.
Yeah, but like I don't think I was paying attention to that because I didn't at that point. At that age, I didn't really care about the
world. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Yeah, but anyways, so it's interesting that people younger than us will know the name Snowden because he's very popular now, but they won't know it's because of 9/11.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's that security guy. You know, I bet you if I asked one of my cousins now, my younger ones, be like, hey, you know Snowden? Like, yeah, of course. He's the guy that's on the TV, like the small box all the time, stuck in Russia, something like that. But it's like, but why is he there, you know? Oh, surveillance. Surveillance for what? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know it all happened because of 9/11, which is so trippy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be like those old fogies being like, remember when? You know what I mean? It's kind of what it is now.
Yeah. It was a really good... The whole thing was very good from the start to the end. Just because it was basically everything wrapped up too. Like, we have now left Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's like it comes full circle.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so, I got to watch that. You know what's really weird about that too? I... like listening to, okay, so in the beginning of the book, they're kind of following this terrorist sleeper agent in Looming Tower, and like they know what happens because they found his like letters, so they just turned it into like a story. But one of the things they said is like, so I follow a lot of U.S. military soldiers because they study BJJ, like Jocko Willink, right? And you know that guy? Yeah. Okay, so him and his crew, like they're all really into it. BJJ, so I follow them, and they were just talking about like the rights and liberties and basic freedoms, and I'm like, but who made up the basic freedoms, like the right to do whatever, blah, 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 you know, like the American way, right? They believe that is the sole truth. Okay, and then reading this thing, it's like the Americans have lost their way because they don't have God, so they're almost like beasts now, like like adultery is common thing. Alcohol use is a common thing. You know, there's no they've devolved themselves.
Sure.
Right. That's their point of view.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying. And it's like, I can get both points of view. You know? So I think what it really is in this world is you just choose a point of view and you toe that line.
Yeah.
Like, even like, you're like, well, I choose no point of view. Choosing no point of view is still no point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, choosing to see both sides is a point of view of choosing to see both sides. You know what I mean? So it's like, what line are you going to toe in life? And that's all we really do.
Yeah. I think what was different in this whole thing was...
Wait, sorry, one more thing. Because, you know, like all the converters?
Yeah.
Remember there was a doc about that guy who, I watched it in Egypt. It was about the dude who, he wasn't Muslim. He met all of his Muslim friends, and then he got really into the religion, and then he converted, and he's like, you Muslims don't even know the origin of your thing. So it's like, you weren't even a part of this. You just saw something in it. You chose to toe that line.
Yeah.
Do you remember that documentary?
I don't remember.
And then he joined the ISIS.
I don't remember this.
Oh, it was on Netflix.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes. It was a short doc.
Okay.
So like, he wasn't even Muslim. And then they started to take him to parties, and then he got really wrapped up in the religion, and then he was telling them who introduced him,
right,
like, you guys don't even understand your own religion, and then he went to go fight. I was like, what, dude?
Yeah, that happens. Like,
you know what I mean? So it's really just you choose what you believe, and you toe that line. If that's what it means, like, if it means so much to you to go there, join ISIS, cool. But just as much as that means to you, it means that much to an American soldier who's going to stop you. You know?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, like the rhetoric after that attack was very much like, we're going to find you and
kill you. Yeah.
That was the American rhetoric.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Yeah.
And it was on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Like, they were showing some interviews. It's like, yeah, we should go and bomb them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember this. I remember this revenge mindset all on CNN. Like, we will not let this rest.
Yeah.
We will get them. Then who's the one? It was before Obama, it was George Bush, and then it became Obama. Obama is the one who found.
Yeah, so Obama was the one
who found Osama.
Yeah, so that's in that doc too.
Yeah, okay, so...
And then right away, once that happened, when that news came out, like within hours, people were outside of the White House cheering.
Yeah, see?
That we got him.
Bro. Dang. And, all right, so do you even remember, like...
but it was, like, I felt weird too. It's like, seeing that, it's like, yes, this guy was, the one that did it all. But it's also cheering for someone's death.
You see what I mean?
You know what I mean? That's what
I'm saying. It's
it feels weird.
You toe the line. It's like, which side are you on? In group, out group.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, I get it. I'm on American side here, but it also feels weird that I'm cheering for someone's death. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then it's like, but he did cause a lot of destruction.
He did cause, yes.
But if we're playing that game, like, we're just blank carpet bombing. Not we, but you know, a lot of carpet bombing, a lot of civilians have died there too. So it's like, if we're gonna play the body count game,
like, yeah, I mean, even
even
recently when they were getting people out, right? Like when they were leaving, and then there was a suicide bomber, right? Yeah, from ISIS-K. Well, we drone strike them. Yeah, right away. I mean, we can't. Like, there's no like
right. Well, I mean, you have. I get it from America's point of view. You have to assert dominance.
No, but yeah, there's no this thing of like turning the other cheek. This doesn't exist,
right? So it's like, again, toe the line you want to toe. Like, it's if you observe it both equally and fairly, it's like, if we're gonna play the body count game, one country's got a bigger body count, but that country with the bigger body count is touting peace. So you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand their point of view. Yeah, I don't know.
But the thing is, I agree with that. I think we mentioned this even like a few probably episodes ago or something. But we need America to be that guy.
No, we do. No, all right, so that's the other thing. See, it's such a convoluted game. It's like, okay, we're just solely looking at body counts. That does look pretty evil, if we're just looking at body counts. Yeah. But to control civility of the entire world, well, what's the greater evil?
Yeah.
You know, it's like body count, sure, but we're protecting the world.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Evil exists,
controlling the world. That's another thing too. It's like another, like a communist person might be like, oh, they're controlling us. Whereas like America's like, we're giving freedoms. You know what I mean? It's like it's all about the narrative you're pushing.
Yeah.
Which is so trippy to think about. Because you're like, what is this world if not just stories that we tell ourselves? Yeah. And then you just choose the story that you believe and just go do that.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking about it like that. Everyone's thinking like, we got him. We got him, everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
That was the line too. We got him.
Yeah. But it was like, now we're officially left, but
then what's the next?
We'll see what happens next. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's almost easier to just like blindly pick a side and then just toe that line versus seeing both sides for what they are. Because you have very few people seeing both sides as it is, you know?
Yeah.
Or you have very few powerful people like towing both sides. Yeah.
I'll remember this line. It was in the maybe the second episode when they told Bush what was happening.
Oh yeah, you played that to me. Yeah, that was a crazy.
It was
scene.
just like, because when they heard about the first one hitting, oh, it's too bad. Maybe the pilot had a heart attack or something.
Yeah,
it was like an accident.
Yeah.
And then the second tower got hit. Then when the guy went to him because he was in front of the kids, but he just whispered into President Bush's ear, the second tower got hit. America is under attack. That is like, and then you can see his face. It's like,
so here's like, the crazy part about that. When because they played that on the news and they hated Bush on CNN. Yeah. So I distinctly remember that exact scene, like in my memory vividly.
Right. Yeah.
As they were attacking him for that, like, look, oh, he got told and he didn't even stop the thing.
Right. I remember that. I remember that they were attacking like, his.
Like, oh, he didn't. Why didn't he stop the school thing? Oh,
this added to the whole conspiracy thing.
Yeah. And then people were like, oh, because he knew the whole time. Blah blah blah. But then when you watch a documentary and then you hear it get told to him.
Yeah.
And then you see the shock and distress on his face.
Yeah.
But he's trying to keep it together in front of the kids, and he's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
There's no playbook for this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like now it's reframed differently. Now you're like, oh, this is a human being who's never expected this to happen and now has to deal with this, and it's never happened in history. You know,
there was a line he said to him too, like when they were landing from the Air Force One, because right away after that happened, they went into the Air Force One. And they were in the air, and all the flights were grounded. Were grounded, right? So only the Air Force One would be in the air.
Yeah.
I think there was also something where it was like, if there's no plane not responding, like we will shoot it down. Like he had to give accept that order. Like, yeah, okay, we can do that order. So they weren't sure if they actually accidentally had hit United 93 or not. They didn't know at the time what happened to United 93.
Oh, interesting.
They thought, did we hit it?
Oh, interesting.
So this is probably like adding on to the conspiracy, like these things, but no, it's just they're people.
So yeah, totally. So it's interesting you brought the conspiracy. That's another towing of the line, which is you think everything's a lie. So I follow this guy Enlightened Goku. I've brought him up before. His spiritual stuff is great, but he's also an anti-vaxxer, and he also believes 9/11 is a conspiracy. So it's like, it fits that mold of being like ultra spiritual, blah, 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 but like how can you not see the overwhelming evidence? Like in terms of the vaccines don't work. They obviously do work, you know, through looking at metrics.
Yeah.
And then it's like with all this documentary stuff, did you read Looming Tower? Oh, for example, that's so fun. Oh, I'll bring this up in a sec. But yeah, so it's called like Project Blue Book, I think. So yesterday, because it was September 11th, he was posting, not just him, like a bunch of other accounts I follow, and I'm like, oh, that's how you really believe that. They were all posting about like it all being like an inside job, you know, I think it was called Project Blue Book. Anyways, damn, I lost my train of thought. That's why I need more coffee. It'll come back to me. But yeah. So it's really interesting to see that. Okay, I remember it. Reading. Okay, so it's really interesting to see that people who say these things, right? Like it's an inside job. This is a conspiracy. Mm-hmm. They don't look at the other side to like verify.
Yeah.
So how this came up for me recently is I posted Yunomi Park's book. I think I'm saying it right. Yunomi, the North Korean person.
Yep.
And I was like, oh yeah, and she retweeted it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, because she retweeted it, now I'm just getting all these, I can't believe you read that. Well, I mean, a lot of people are like liking it. Yeah, it's a great book, blah, blah, blah. Then you get these people that are like, oh, how can you believe that stuff? It's all fake. It's so true that she, and then like one dude wrote that and I commented back like, did you read the book or go to North Korea? And he didn't comment back because he's like, he didn't read the book and he didn't go to North Korea. So how are you going to tell me it's a lie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's like, read the book and then tell me if it's a lie. Go fact check it, yourself, if it really means that much to you. But don't just say it's a lie because you heard that's like some rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
And what's also weird is like I clicked on their profiles and they're all like super communist and like,
right.
I was like, okay, are you a North Korean bot? I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's weird.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me that like, how do you have the audacity to post about conspiracies and you haven't looked into it? Like, did you watch Turning Point? Did you talk to people? Do you trust Edward Snowden? Is everything a lie to you? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. That's what I mean. Like that's the crazy. I don't know what side he's on, but that's the crazy conspiracy side.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Even with this like North Korean Yunomi Park thing, I was like, what the heck? And to be like, oh no, and
to believe that everything's a conspiracy, it's like,
and then somebody else commented, like this guy, somebody who commented first on that one, I just ignored it. It was like oh, I can't, that book is all BS. I was like, whatever. And then this other guy who I actually responded to with, did you read the book or go to North Korea? Then the first guy was like, why would we feed into her money by buying the book? So I'm like, okay, so you've just automatically refused to look at any other information other than what you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
And then other people are like, oh, why would you waste an hour on YouTube watching about how vaccines work when we obviously know that they don't work? You know what I mean? It's dude.
Yeah.
Look. Like if you're gonna play the both sides game, at least look at both sides. Don't just, or maybe they're just towing the one line.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the thing, right? People, but why are they even writing that stuff? Like most people are just gonna see it.
Most people just liked it,
which is that's what I'm saying. Like, that's gonna be, it's 90% of people that like it, or like normal people.
Just the weirdos that
of course
you meet in real life. You're like, dude, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Now they have a platform to speak on, right?
Whereas before they didn't.
Yeah. They're just ignored.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Ooh, that is actually so true. Oh, that is so true. I never even thought about that. It's like the people that rant to you as you walk down the street about like converting to Christ. It's like, now you have social media, bro. Go ham.
Right.
Fair point. All right. Anything else about 9/11?
That was it was a good doc to watch.
Yeah.
Just to, what exactly happened that day. And then the following days after that.
Trippy. I definitely got to watch it. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to read Looming Tower first before getting into it. So it's like, at least I get the full picture.
Yeah. You're getting all the behind the scenes to the towers and then.
Yeah. Like I can go like chronologically throughout the whole thing rather than just like jumping back and forth. Like, okay. So next thing, and Joe Rogan, we both watched it right after him getting COVID and then getting over it. He had like a guest on, Tom Segura, and they talked about it in the beginning of the podcast about him getting COVID. And okay, fair, sure, let's just disregard the adverse side effects of everything you took. What you and I both were talking about, which is so weird that nobody talked about. Even Russell Brand brought it up, but he glazed over it so quickly, and I was like, that's so weird. Why is nobody talking about it? It's like Joe had a contingency plan in case he got COVID.
Yeah.
And that contingency plan required lots and lots of money and manpower.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, totally. You can get over COVID however you want to get over COVID, if you have the resources. But if everyone did if we look at how easily it is to spread COVID, and if it required every single person to use the same amount of resources you did, rather than just taking a free vaccine, like, that would cripple the system in its own right. So it's like, he didn't acknowledge that, and nobody's acknowledging that. Mm-hmm. Even CNN's, I'm like, this is your talking point. Like, CNN, you should be focusing on the fact that regular people can't afford that. Like, you can't afford nurses and IV drips. And like, even his friend was talking about how he was in the hospital for something else. Yeah. And then he didn't know he had COVID. And then the doctor was like, oh, do you want to get a COVID test? If you get same day, it's an extra $100. And he's like, yeah, sure. What's another $100? I'm already spending thousands of dollars a day for this other thing. And I'm like, yeah, let's not forget that healthcare isn't free in the US. Yeah. So you're going out of pocket a lot of money when the vaccine's free. And then on the flip side, in Canada, the healthcare is free, but there's not enough resources for everyone to get. Like, okay, so 900 people, there's 900 cases. Let's say they were all bad. Okay, they all required Joe Rogan level fixing.
Yeah, treatment or whatnot.
So how many nurses do you think you have? How many of those bags do you think you have? You know what I mean? If there was 100,000 cases, 12,000 cases in Florida a day. So it's not just like one day of Joe Rogan level treatment. This took him like at least 3 days to get over. So it's like, you need 3 days worth of coverage for 12,000 people a day. That's 24,000 people in 2 days. You're quickly going to run out of supply.
Yep. And it's not cheap. The stuff that he was doing was
not cheap and
very, very expensive.
And it's not readily available. Yeah. So you still have to find those things, like the liquid IV drips, this vitamin C stuff, and like the ivermectin. See, like, everyone, like, he was saying, like, oh, it's almost like a false flag or like a red herring, which is so upsetting to me. Everyone's like, oh, ivermectin will make you sterile, unlike the vaccine. They showed, like, in studies, 85% or something who took
study in Africa, I think it was, you were saying. Yeah.
Okay, so irregardless of that, so everyone's focusing on the fact that he took ivermectin. Like, oh, it's a horse dewormer. Okay, who cares about that? Let's just look at the money. Yeah. Like the base of all of it. Who cares what the side effects are?
He said he got the treatment what Trump got. So
like, come on, that's what the president got. You know what I mean? So it's like, you think the person that's living in cooperative housing, who's making zero money, living off food stamps, can get the treatment that the president and $100 million minimum net worth person got? Yeah. Because Spotify paid him $100 million? So that's not adding up to me. Yeah, right. So it's like we should focus on the most obvious thing, but everyone's focusing on like, oh, the treatment. Oh, what treatment are you using? Who cares what the treatment is? Just, what about the money? What about the resources? Yeah. And I feel like that's what politicians were focusing on. Like people like Trudeau, like him pushing the vaccine. And everyone's like, oh, look at this.
Well, everyone is pushing the vaccine. I mean, every leader, I would say, or most leaders.
All right, sure. Totally. Well, I'm talking about our leader because that's what I'm knowledgeable about. Didn't Biden put like a forced vaccine thing? Something? I didn't look into it, but everyone's really pissed.
Like a federal mandate.
That you have to get it?
Federal mandate, yeah. For federal or public, something like that.
So like we did here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's so weird. Everyone's going off like about how you don't like. They made it seem like he made everyone get the vaccine, like it's a mandatory thing.
Well, yeah, I mean when they say mandate, right? But no, like they're using those terms.
The people I follow were like as if it was.
Well, yeah, they were doing the same when Trudeau or when.
No, but they made it seem like he was pushing it on everyone, so then they were revolting. See, it's like the confusion again. It's like, no, this is just for a specific amount of people. because they deal a lot with the public, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyways.
I don't know the full extent.
Oh, okay, so maybe it is like
maybe
everyone has to get it.
Again, I don't know.
That's what it sounded like from the post that I follow. They're all like getting upset.
Yeah, but like you have to really look into what he said because people just get upset.
Okay, let's forget about that. Let's just focus on Trudeau.
Yeah.
So because that's something we're both
familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so pushing for everyone to get it. There's no conspiracy here. It's actually the most economical thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. Like the fact, and it was so trippy. I was with your brother yesterday and we were picking up something and I saw this sign and it said, Pfizer vaccine available, no appointment, just walk in. And I was like, wow, like it's that readily available.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you're making it as free as possible so you don't have to spend what a president or $100 million net worth person spent.
Yeah.
This is true equality.
Yeah.
Nobody's focusing on that. Like that's they did, I
think they did similar mandates in Denmark, and also like the vaccine passport and stuff. They did have all that. I think they've hit the 90%. They've removed everything. No, Denmark is right now fully open.
Wow, that's cool.
They stopped the vaccine passport stuff. They don't need to do it anymore.
Wow, that's great.
Everything
because
stopped.
They've
hit the 90% mark. Perfect. Like if they ever need to, again, it's like, okay, if we need to, we can. But right now, everything's open.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, maybe they'll cancel ours then because we're almost at 90%.
I just don't know when we're going to reach 90%. It's taking some time.
Okay. Well, whatever. Who cares? Whatever. They said like 300,000 off from 90%.
Yeah, as long as hopefully that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully these mandates help.
300,000 is not that much.
Right, and hopefully these mandates help get there.
Yeah, totally.
And then we can get rid of them.
You know. Okay, not to say like I'm a smart marketer. Okay, I'm just understanding. I'm just looking at this objectively, and what is the thing that people can understand? If on CNN you didn't talk about what the treatment was, you put a pie graph or you put a chart, a cost chart of like, this is how much he spent.
Yeah.
This is how much you could spend. The choice is up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
It's like if I saw that, if Joe Rogan disclosed the amount of money he spent, he was like, it cost me $50,000. Okay, cool. You're going to show me a chart on the news saying $50,000 to do it your way, whichever way you want, hospitalization, $50,000. Vaccine's free. I would be like, this is a no-brainer to me.
Right.
It's 50 G's.
Yeah.
Or the third option, just get COVID and be forced to pay $50K or die.
Yeah.
It's so obvious to me. It's like, who's gonna pay $50K?
It's free, guys. It's free.
Yeah, it's free.
I mean, it's a big thing for Americans. Yeah. It's free.
But now they're like, but then what are the ramifications, bro? Okay, fine. Pay 50 G's for something that also has ramifications.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marketing matters, man.
Yeah. Like it's more than that too. It's like, if you don't have it, it's like you're going to get sick. You might be out. You're going to be out for 2 weeks. You're going to lose work for 2 weeks.
How are you going to pay the 50 G's that you owe? You know? Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking this economically.
Well, most people have, we just need a little bit more people to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least Canadians. Their numbers are still a bit low in America.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know the actual numbers?
I think they're more like 70-something% double vaxxed, I think.
Remember how much they were touting how quickly they had it?
They were so...
They were quickly, and then they tapered off.
Yeah.
Because just like the voting and how close it was between Trump and Biden, we're now seeing that there's an equal divide between intelligence levels there. Yeah. But whatever, man, toe your line. You choose the story you want to live with in life, and that's your life. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, cool. So let's do Apple. We'll save the inspiration for last.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it. The Apple event is happening this week. They sent out the invite earlier this week, as I was anticipating. So 14th. But I feel like I don't think we need to be as hyped. Like I think it's
that's so funny.
Like let's calm down this.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago we were like, okay, you're like, okay, 13. I'm like, I'm going 12S, but it's like now it's like a merger between the two because you're like they're gonna go with 13.
They're gonna go with 13,
but it should be an S. Like it's just marketing matters again.
Yeah. And there were some leaks that happened, which Apple's probably not happy about.
Oh, what?
Of the design for 14.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, you didn't tell me this earlier.
Oh, yeah. So where it's just a punch hole camera. There's no notch.
Wow.
I believe it's flush back, so there's no bump from the camera bump.
Wow. I'm looking at my phone right now. It's like a little bit of a bump.
So it's like, it is a very reminiscent of the iPhone 4. Even the plus, the volume buttons, the plus and minus buttons of the volume are circular.
Ooh.
Like the iPhone 4.
Ooh.
It seems it's like
this little tab that I got on my 11 Pro. Okay. I see you. Okay, yeah, sorry.
So those are the current design rumors for the 14. This is a week before even the 13 is even announced.
Oh, so basically people are going to be cheesed.
Well, if like people like us or like me who follow these things are like, I don't think 13 is going to be as big. You know what I mean? It kind of diminishes the hype.
Yeah.
Because you know what's coming.
Wow. All right, so you're thinking that the 13 is not going to be worth it?
Okay. In terms like this if you have a 12, if you have 11, I don't think 13 is necessarily worth it.
Okay. Yeah, you said that
even though
before.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But if you have like much older phones, 5-year-old phones like me, I think it's still worth it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's all.
No, or why not, like we were talking about earlier in the week, why not just get like an older version? Like the 12 will be cheaper than the 13.
Sure,
If it's basically a 12S, just label the 13, why not just get the 12 then?
But as long as it has the ProRes, because that was one of the things that I was hoping for.
But like for what? I don't understand. It's a screen.
I just wanted to experience that. So I was hoping that the 12 was going to have it, which didn't have it. So,
but what is a ProRes screen going to do for?
It's just smoother movements and stuff.
Okay.
It's just like a tech enthusiast.
It's
more for like the tech enthusiast. Is it like what I say for normal people? Nah, it's not something that you're like really going to even notice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so it's like
for normal people, not going to notice. But it's just like as a tech enthusiast.
Okay, so you're saying
I'd rather have the newer one than necessarily the older one.
So you're saying you're gonna drop money on the 13 instead of
that was already the plan, anyways.
Cheaper one. No, but what I'm saying is, if you look at it and you're like, oh, it's basically a 12S.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, I guess if the price difference is, I don't know. For me, if I was upgrading pragmatically.
Also there are other things with the 12 that I know that this one would have a bigger battery than the 12.
Okay, but like how much bigger?
Because the 12 was smaller battery than yours, than the 11.
No, right. But what I'm saying is, if it were me now, I'd still go 11 Pro because it's probably going to be the free option. I know you don't have a plan, but like I have an upgrade plan.
Yeah.
So like, if my three options were like 11 Pro for free, 12 or 13 you gotta pay, I'd be like, the free option's the better one, because the only thing, like, again, I always say this, like the design function for me that really made the 11 stand out, 11 Pro at least, and then going forward, is the durability, so you don't need a case, and the submergibility. Like you can get this thing, it's like waterproof. Nothing's waterproof, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can like submerge it.
Right.
So those two things are like no brainers to me. But like a new screen to me is like,
sure.
Okay. I guess.
Everyone has their own thing, right? So, but I've been waiting. I'd rather get a new one versus
of course,
versus a year old,
because then it'll the longevity of it all. Yeah. But I do like the sound.
But we'll see. 14. Maybe I might trade it and just get that 14 next year. Well, I don't know. If it's really worth.
Oh my god! And then the 14 comes, and then the 15, and then the 16 is like, all right.
Well, I most likely won't, but it's just like that's in the back of my mind.
Okay, yeah, but remember, like when the 11 came out, I was like, okay, all right, but then the 12, all right, cool, 12's man.
Yeah.
I feel like Apple will always make the next year one more enticing, so you're kind of just in that loop of always waiting for the next one and never getting one. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. I mean, look, I really haven't upgraded. I've had the iPhone 7 for a long time.
Yeah.
So just makes sense, I think.
Now, especially with everything.
Now, with the 13. We'll see what else is.
I mean, like the OS systems and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Because you don't have the new OS system or anything, right?
No, it is. No, it's relatively new. Yeah.
The OS?
They're still up. Yeah.
You have the exact same OS as me?
I don't think I've upgraded yet, but I can upgrade to the one because I'm one behind you, I think.
That's what I mean. So it's like if you wait again another year, then an OS is going to come out, and then it's like, well, this is just not compatible anymore. There's like a what do you call it?
There's a threshold until how many you can.
Planned obsolescence. It's like they're going to make a point where it's like we can't upgrade, like your brother's iPad, where it's like he can't upgrade the app because the iPad's too old.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're kicking me out now. You're forcing me to upgrade.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, you don't have to, right? As long as the iPad is still working.
Yeah, or you don't quote unquote have to, but it's basically you can't use it. It's like
you can still use it.
You can't use that app. He told me you can't use the app.
Oh, certain. Yeah. When certain apps, once they've hit, you can't upgrade them, right?
So because it requires the new OS.
Yeah.
But the new OS doesn't work on really old models.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And even my own example, which I'm still kind of cheesed about, but whatever it is, what it is. When I upgraded to the new OS for my laptop, everything froze. Like it's like slowing down like crazy, just because I wanted Logic Pro 10.
Yeah.
So it's planned obsolescence. It's telling me, okay, we don't want to allow you. It was working so smooth up until I upgraded to the new OS, because Logic forced me to upgrade it,
right?
Because I couldn't use the app.
Yeah.
So that's planned obsolescence. It's like we're forcing you to buy a new model, which sucks. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess if you get the 13, at least it's like that's good for another like 6-7 years.
Yeah, that's also what I think about it as too. So that's why I generally always just buy the newer one.
Yeah, that's what I did. Remember when I was upgrading, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna ask you first. Should I buy the very new? Like when I upgraded, 11 Pro was the newest at the time. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll buy this one, and then
I think you're asking between the 11s, right? The different 11s.
Yeah, 11 or 11 Pro.
Yeah.
And then you said Pro because of the durability and the tri-cam.
Yeah.
It was the durability that sold me, actually. It was because the 11 didn't have the same glass as the Pro.
Yeah.
Because the Pro had like the ultra durable glass. And then I watched all those drop videos and I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is a no-brainer now. But to go from like 11 Pro to like
I don't think you need
to free. If the 11 Pro was free, I would just choose 11 Pro because I'm like, okay, it's really just submergibility and the durability I want.
Sure.
Unless I was caking it and then I'd just be like, whatever, I'll just buy whatever I want. Every year I'd probably just buy a new phone.
Yeah, like they have this. I think they have this thing in America, which I'm hoping to have here too. But it's like you're just paying a month. You're basically renting the phone.
Oh, that's cool.
And then at the end of the year, you give it back and get the next phone, right?
What? Oh, do they not have that here?
No, I don't think they do.
That's annoying.
Yeah, Americans.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would do that.
You know what I saw? I posted it too. Shepard Fairey. He did an interview with Jared Leto, the Joker.
Yeah.
I love that's how I just refer to him now. Because like, what's his most iconic role? I mean, he's done way more iconic roles, but his big botch was the Joker. So it's funny to remember him as the Joker. So he did an interview.
Well, he did a decent job at the end of Justice League. Zack Snyder's one.
A cool 30-second.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah. So he did an interview with Shepard Fairey, and he said, "What's America's biggest export? Culture." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Ooh, I didn't even think about that." It's like iPhones, T-shirts, music, culture is America's biggest export. Yeah. Like, that's genius.
That's why Hollywood is that big.
Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, totally. Yeah, fascinating. Okay.
That's why everybody outside of America loves America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say, I don't want to say everybody, but like most people. Most. I wouldn't say everybody, but most. Yeah.
Yeah, right. The AirPods. So, any news on that? Now that we're getting closer
I think the rumors are it'll look like the AirPod Pro, but in the...
Wait, what? It'll look like the AirPod Pro?
Yeah. The design of it will be similar to that, except it's just like in-ear, or like it's on-ear, not in-ear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Will it be submergible?
Well, I don't know that.
That's the thing for me. It has to be waterproof and durable.
I don't think so.
I'm done with any tech that's not waterproof and durable now. Because it's like, that just seems like the most basic. Oh, actually, and once battery life gets stronger, battery life. Those are like the three most basic things for freaking technology to me. Like the epitome of all technology. Well, all right, no, there's so many other things like usability, whatever. But in terms of like form and function, like, of course, usability.
Once you've hit all the other criteria,
like there's the thing you really need, like the self-actualization, that like the top of the pyramid, that's the biggest differentiator. If everything else is the same, it's durability, submergibility, and battery life. Because it's like, that's what you need tech to be. Yeah. Because you're going to put it through the ringer. You're going to drop it. You're going to try and swim with it. Like, it's so annoying to take things off and put them back on. You know what I mean? It's like, right. That's why I like my watch, right? It's like almost infinite battery life, because it's a solar powered one, but you can also plug it in. Durable, submergible. It's like military grade. The only thing I wish it would do is like, because I take it off for jiu-jitsu, it'd be amazing if it would just like go into my skin or something when I'm like a bionic person. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that would be so I wouldn't have to take it off. I just like push a button and it just like something. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, that's future. But right now we can only deal with durability, submergibility, and battery life.
Sure.
Anyway, so AirPods, you think they're going to be...
Yeah, I think it's AirPods is all that's going to be new, but I think the AirPods Pro
will stay the same.
Yeah, I don't think there's a new one yet.
I was thinking about the AirPods Pro Max as well.
But again, these are all rumors. What I'm saying, we'll have to just wait until Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not too far away. The AirPods Pro Max, the over ears, you know, like the
yeah, right.
I was thinking about that too, but that's so clunky. It's just like sometimes you need just small things. Yeah, you know. Because I was thinking about I was like, okay, which one of the headphones should I get?
I do like the AirPods Pro Max.
I do too,
but I wouldn't wear that outside.
That's
though.
What I'm saying.
It's like a inside the house kind of walk around thing.
Yeah.
I would do it in the house, especially when I'm watching movies on the iPad. I think that would be
amazing. Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, but you bought like really
but I'm sitting in front of a computer doing it, right? Right. Where in the iPad I can be on my bed.
Right. Okay. Fair. But you're not taking that outside, so it's like
I'm not taking it out. I wouldn't take that outside.
They're just so big. It's like I saw somebody with it actually recently outside.
Oh yeah? Yeah. I've never seen it yet.
It's Asian area, bro. Rich people all around us. Yeah, so it was actually an Asian person with it, and I was like, it's cool, but it's so big. It's like I like that whole small in-ear thing. It's better.
Yeah, I mean, there's levels to it. Yeah, I do like I'll probably wear the in-ear if I'm going out or traveling. It's just, I think for the inside of the house, I do like the big one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally.
That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, totally. But you know,
but then you got to buy both of them. It's about $1,000.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, no. Yeah, but I really want to hear what it sounds like. Like I would like to test it even.
Can you test it?
Oh,
at the Apple Store.
Apple Store. That'd be so cool if you could test it.
I do want to try that spatial audio, but you do get that in the AirPods Pro as well. It's kind of interesting.
But the difference between the in-ear and the over-ear, this is the only difference that's annoying for me is like the surround sound seems better in an over-ear. Like with these open backs that we have, it's like it makes you feel like you're there. Actually, there's been so many times where like, it's so funny. Like, remember when I was picking up my cousin from the airport and then you and Tara were like, already went to bed and I was like up because I had to get picked up. So I was watching something and I forgot I had headphones on and I thought you guys, like somebody had come out. So I like turned around like, oh, did you guys see something? But I'm like, oh no, I have freaking headphones in. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like for somebody who doesn't, it's something you have to experience. There's certain things in life that it's so hard to articulate. You just can't experience. Like mine were like $100. So if you can pay the $100 for over ear headphones that are open back, your life will be like, you'll be like, what is this magic? I remember I did with yours. Like I couldn't afford yours ones. It's like super expensive. But like when I tried the open backs, I was like, dude, this feels like it's not like sound is pouring into my ear. It's like I'm in the thing, you know? Speaking of which, so this is so funny. And Arvel, if you're listening to this, here's another moment of a sell. So yesterday so Arvel's got this game room in his house, like his like pro studio thing. It's pretty sick though. It's basically the same as Siri, but he's got Google. So it's like, he'll walk in and just be like, Google, turn on lights, whatever. So it like turns on. Okay. And then on his desk, unopened, is a PS5. And I was like, dude, you got a PS5, bro. That's so sick. And he's like, yeah, I'm just like trying to resell it. I'm like, have you not played it? And he's like, no, I've never touched it. And I'm like, dude, the whole thing is the controller. That's what makes this thing amazing. And then he was like, yeah, but I have DualShock. I'm like, no. I know.
What? It's like, called dual. Dude. This new thing is called DualSense.
No,
it's different.
And he was just like, no, but what's the difference between DualShock? And I'm like, dude, I swear to you, there's this game where like Vish was playing it and they jump into your controller. Remember that? And then like they're alive in there and then you tilt the controller and you could feel all of them falling to one side. And then you're like, oh, like flip the controller. So like jerk the control, like make it move up and down really quickly. So I did it and then they're like, you could hear them all like in the controller as if they're alive in there. And it tripped me out so hard. And then like, even like I was explaining the Spider-Man game where it's like, you can feel the pressure sensitivity. So it's like, as you shoot the web, it feels like you're shooting the web. Yeah. And he's like,
and then when you let go too of the web, like it releases the tension.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. But
it'll be mainly Sony games that will be implementing these things, right?
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Because it has the tech.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like a magic box, man. Like I was like telling him like, dude, you're sitting on magic. Like why? But he was like, he used his points to buy it, so he's trying to resell it. So he bought it for like, sorry to give your game away, Arvel, but he bought it for like $500 and then he's trying to sell it for $800.
Yeah.
That's totally. But I'm like, but you haven't played it, so you don't understand that you're like, for $300, like to make an extra $300, I'd rather just play the game. Like it's so magical, like this thing. I mean, sure, he's like, all right, I don't really have time to play it, blah blah blah. But it's like when you play it, this is a magic box. It's crazy. Yeah. But that goes back into the thing about like things you have to experience, and like us telling you is like, you can't. It's like the over ears.
Yeah, that's why they had to like the way. When they were showing off what the DualSense does, they had to do it in a very interesting way, like having little pieces around it kind of move, like what it would sense.
Yes.
But like that was the best way that they could
to show you.
Or like on the video, like when you're promoting the DualSense, it's like how do you promote this thing?
It's really, you have to feel it.
Yeah, you really got to feel it.
It's like
they did their best in trying to explain it, but it's one thing to like try to understand it that way, but like when you feel it, it's so much better.
It's like the over ears, like the sensation of thinking that it's all around you, you can't explain that to somebody. You're like, yeah, it feels like you're all around you. And they're like, yeah, but it's probably just like this. Like, just like he said, it was probably like the DualShock. I'm like, no, dude, it's nothing like the DualShock. And then he's like, so he brought he bought another controller, and then he's like, he brought it down, and I was like, oh, dude, you've opened it. You played it before. He's like, yeah, the new controller works on my phone or something with other games.
Yeah.
But so he's like, yeah, so I felt it, but I'm like, no,
it's that's not the same.
Like, because it's not proprietary software.
Yeah.
So it's like the iPhone game doesn't have the same coding as the actual people that made.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they made that free mini game, because they want to show you the potential of where it's going to go, because it's going to like explode. Like when developers really figure out how to utilize this technology, could you imagine VR headset plus the controller? That's going to be bananas.
Right.
And then over ears, dude, you're in an immersive world.
Yeah.
Like it's haptic basically.
Yeah.
The controller's like haptic touch.
Yeah, that's what the terms that they were using. So yeah, talking about PlayStation, because they had the showcase just the other day with all the games, and I'm not gonna play this game, GT Gran Turismo, right?
Yeah.
The way what they were explaining was like the difference of feelings in the different, like, because you can adjust, I guess, customize the cars and how the driving feels when you're changing gears.
Oh, dude,
the different types of brakes, putting it on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
I can imagine it. Yeah.
I know, it's like, oh, that sounds so cool, but I'm not a racer person anymore. But it's like,
because you know how like you can tilt the controller.
Yeah.
Like so. If they get really good at driving, so instead of using the joystick to drive, you're using the controller by tilting it, right? Because it's really intuitive now. So imagine as you switch the brakes, the level of resistance on the controller that you feel is like, it changes as you're like maneuvering the controller, like using like a steering wheel. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah.
Where it's going to go is like,
you know, like we played the first God of War, right? Or the Norse mythology one.
Yeah.
So like they were showing off the second one, but it's like, you know, when you throw the axe, when you're catching the axe, the feeling of it, I can imagine.
Yes.
It's gonna be like.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy too when it's only on one side too, so you'll feel it only on that side. The side that he caught the axe on, and that side of the controller is gonna move. Yeah, it's magic. It's magic.
Yeah, it's really is.
Like for me, like it's like, okay, I'll buy it when a game I want to play comes out. But if you're already sitting on it, it's like, just open it then. Like you already bought it. You know, $300 is like, you're gonna spend that again later because you're gonna want to buy it later. You know. Yeah.
But it is still very hard to find. That's why the price points
That's why I'm like, dude,
very high.
You got it. That's why I was shocked when I was like, what? Oh, you have it.
I mean, it's
it's truly magical.
I don't know which version he's got too, because there is a new version out that
I don't know either.
A new they did some design changes to the heat sink inside, so it's almost 300 grams less. So
like weight, you mean?
Weight wise, it's less. Cool. So that the original version will now be even, like, people will sell it for even a higher price.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh, why? Because of the weight?
No, because the original version isn't being made anymore.
Oh, so it's like exclusive.
It became more exclusive now.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'll uptick the price again.
Oh, okay. So maybe just sell, I don't think he has the old one because he just bought it.
Yeah, you have to look at the manufacturing number.
Oh, okay.
And if you do based on that, if you not sure if it's the old one or not, because I don't know if it's everywhere yet.
Okay, so there's the hustle larval. You look at the manufacturing number, you sell the old one for more money because it's an exclusive, then you buy the new one for a cheaper price because you're gonna want this. I mean, literally the only reason why is like they haven't had a game yet that I'm like, oh, I really want to play this, you know. But if you're already sitting on it, if you already have it, it's like, okay, just use it then.
I mean, the free game itself is it's good in the sense of explaining everything about the DualSense.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where it's going to go is going to be bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we even did a whole podcast about it before about like...
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. It's cool. Okay, last thing. I don't really know too much about this, so this is all you. The inspiration of our generation.
So there's a launch happening later this week.
Inspiration 4.
And we talked about... I mean, they have these videos. They have the video on Netflix as well. So...
Okay, go watch that.
Yeah, go watch that. The first 2 episodes are about the crew.
Cool.
The 4 civilian crew members that are going, like now this time, actually into space, I would say, versus, what
Bezos.
Richard Branson did and Jeff Bezos did are minuscule in that sense compared to what SpaceX is doing.
Yeah.
That they will be going into space and they're going to be going higher than the space where the Space Center is, ISS. Yeah. International Space Center.
Okay.
They'll be going higher than that and orbiting Earth for about 3 days.
Cool.
And then coming back to Earth in another way, like crashing back into Earth.
Yeah. All right. And explain the people.
So what I really liked, and they go into this pretty in depthly in the show, is that they have like a mission objective, and they want to. The whole idea is inspiring people, and the force
inspiration 4.
Yeah, and the 4 seats that are going to be there are they all represent something. Mm-hmm. So first is the leadership position. Then the other seat is hope, person that represents hope. Another person that represents generosity and prosperity, the 4th seat. I like this whole idea, right? It's like they've really thought this out, and they're raising money for St. Jude, right? It's like they kind of talk about it a bit more. It's where they're like, we're doing all these things, we're going into space. It's like, but we're also like at the same time raising money for something that's affecting people on Earth, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, it's not just like there's 2 causes you're doing here.
Yeah.
Inspiring people, for future space exploration, basically, or going to Mars, and at the same time helping people at St. Jude cancer research.
Yeah.
So I do like this whole mission objective that they're doing. Which is why it was like, with the Blue Origin or the Virgin Galactic thing, it was very, I felt it was more like, because it was them specifically.
Self-centered.
Yeah. Because it was their own, like Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson going up into space. It's it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's an actual, like.
It's a clout move.
Yeah. Like that's an actual thing where they were saying like, oh, it's $1 million or $1 billion only, like space is only available for $1 billion people or whatever, right? So it's like, but like Elon Musk isn't going to space here.
Yeah, totally.
It's SpaceX is doing this along with St. Jude and the people they've selected now to inspire the future generations
and go into the stories though.
So yeah, and they're all very interesting stories. I don't know much about I still haven't finished the prosperity person as well as the generosity person.
Okay.
But in the first episode, they go into the leadership person who's in the leadership seat and the person in the hope seat. Mm. So the leadership seat person, he is a high school dropout who got his GED. He did his GED and left high school, and he started his own company, which he ended up, I think, pretty young, becoming a billionaire himself, actually.
Let's deconstruct that really quick, because I think it's really important to understand that people who choose not to go to school in that position, who become multi-billionaires, the reason why they did, like, even in that story, he got his GED, and then he went straight to work. He's like, I'm wasting my 4 years here because I could be doing more. Other dropouts, like other university dropouts, have done the exact same thing. It's like, why am I in university? I can really be doing more of a difference. Like, they had a vision, and they had
a vision and a goal that they wanted to reach.
Yeah. So it's like leaving school.
Yeah, I don't want to
no plan. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't want to. Put a bright light as if it's dropping out is like a great thing to do.
No, they have a plan.
They have a plan.
Like, he left high school and he's like, let me get my GED so I can finish this up quickly and then go do something really quick. That's really important to me. Yeah. There's a vision.
Yeah, right. So he's the one who, worked hard and all that stuff. He's, I think himself or his company is at least a billionaire. And he started getting, at a young age, he always liked flying.
Cool.
So he started doing flying lessons. And he's like, oh, can we do like retired fighter jets? You can do that. I didn't know that. After flying that, he was joined in like doing air shows. So it's like he's really like into this.
Yeah.
So eventually he had this, I think, idea as a kid. Like I think had a meeting with SpaceX at one time, and he's like,
"Oh, cool, that's cool."
And he just said this as, even if you're ever thinking about, civilians going to space or something like that, it's like, I would really like to be involved in that.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then
what a cool story for him.
Yeah, and SpaceX is like,
just so
something
happens.
is coming up, something recently. So yeah. So cool. Anyway, so they planned that he was the one to lead the mission, or I think the position is like commander, right? I think, or something like that. Then they had to, the whole idea was raise money for St. Jude.
Yeah.
So I think he's putting up $100 million to St. Jude, and he asked St. Jude if they know anyone that fits this position of hope. And that person, I don't know her name, but I don't remember her name, but she was a cancer patient herself. I think 13 or 11 years old when she had bone cancer.
Okay.
That she went through chemotherapy, and her story is very fascinating too. And she seemed like she had really like not in a like a bright mindset kind of thing. Like even though she's sick, but she's still like smiling and trying to get through it, right? She's a cancer survivor, and now she knew that her job wanted to come back and help people here at St. Jude Hospital. So she got the position as a physician assistant.
Okay.
Within that hospital, and St. Jude emailed her like about an opportunity, and she's like, she didn't know what it was going to be about.
It's kind of weird though to just like throw that on someone. Hey, do you want to?
Yeah, I know.
They're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they asked her, and she's like,
I've never thought of it.
Yeah, it's like, this is not something you're expecting. Like
Yeah.
And then she talked to her brother, talked to her mom. I think her brother is in like an engineer, so he loves space stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they used to always go to the like the space museums and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, you should do it. This is like a very interesting opportunity. She didn't know, but she like asked in the email, oh yeah, I'd like to join. And she asked the question, are we going to the moon? And then his brother's like, of course you're not going to the moon.
Oh,
he's like, no. So then she got onto a Zoom call with Jared is the guy's name, who in that leadership position. So he talked to her and telling her that you have been selected, and we're not going to the moon. We're going to be orbiting Earth for 3 days. And the other thing that we do, like, she will also be the first person with a prosthetic in her leg
to go to space.
Yeah, to go into space.
It's cool.
This is very, inspiring stories.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
Yeah. Hence inspiration.
Hence inspiration.
And four because there's 4 people.
There's 4 people going up.
And there's 4 aspects to inspiration, which is leadership, hope,
generosity,
and prosperity.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What are the next ones?
Next ones?
Yeah. Prosperity, generosity.
Yeah, those are the 4, right? The other 2, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think generosity was selected from people who donated, and then like a random draw kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
That was selected. So
that's an easy one.
Yeah, and finally, prosperity is her story. Like she's connected to NASA. Like her dad used to work at NASA.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
She had applied to NASA, but was rejected. Like she, I think, went to the final process of it, but was not selected. So she thought it was a missed opportunity kind of thing. It's like something that she wanted to do, but couldn't happen.
So it's really 50-50 on people who have had some sort of aviation experience, because this is like a NASA attempted person and flyer.
Yeah.
The only two like zero experience ones are the generosity one
and hope.
Yeah. I think if you like
in some ways they're still civilians, but they had to meet certain calibers. Right, the caliber of the whatever the requirement that they wanted to hit, right, and they had to fit those types of positions.
Yeah.
For the seat, what they're representing.
But there's no like physical requirements.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to be happening. So
they train them.
Yeah, there is some training, but I don't like. So they're gonna go into that, I think, in the 3rd and 4th episode, which will be released on Monday.
But it's not like oh, you can't hit 3.
Yeah, so that's they did mention that in the first episode, which was
Do you like roller coasters?
Like no, like all the ones that used to go into space, the NASA astronauts or cosmonauts, they were like godlike built.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They mentioned that.
So like how did they no, because those people they had to like pilot the thing while under hard like circumstances, but these people are just passengers.
Yeah, and everything so cool. I believe everything is I'm sure everything is on autopilot. Like they're not doing anything.
No, nobody's touching
but mission control has control if everything does happen, but they do go into that a little bit, like some certain failed missions in the past.
Yeah, you're saying.
So it's still, you're on a rocket.
Yeah, and this has not worked before. Like somebody died, like the civilian. You're saying.
Yeah. I mean, they go into that one of the 2 failed missions that NASA had.
Yeah.
That people had died in. So like these are real things that had happened.
Yeah.
So these are civilians that are going.
So there's always a risk.
They're leaving family right on Earth. So it's like, sure, they're doing this, but if anything happens to them, it's the family that have to deal with this situation.
Totally,
not them, right?
Yeah. So always remember there's a risk.
Yeah.
I think, our 2 things that are important about this topic are, one, this is going to set the stage for space travel locally within Earth. Remember that thing that SpaceX was talking about? Like you can travel from here to like Japan in 3 hours, something like that?
No. Everything, anywhere around the world will be less than an hour.
Oh, less than an hour. Oh, okay.
Hour or less than an hour, I think, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. So that's setting up. This is setting up for that. So let's not forget that like, because like, why are just random civilians like inspiration, whatever. It's like, no, this is also planning, because like this is going to be a commercial aspect in the future, which is so trippy to think about. Like we're that far in the future that now we're already testing potential alternate travel paths.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yep.
And the second thing is, what a genius marketer Elon Musk is. like really deconstruct. You know what I like about emo bands of the past?
Right. What?
Okay, so like emo bands of the past, they would always name their. I'll give you the best example, the most salient example. Chiodos, this emo band that I love. They named a song called "Bulls Make Money, Bears Make Money, Pigs Get Slaughtered." Okay, so when you hear it, you're like, "Oh, that's a cool name." So superficially, you're like, cool name. But then when you actually deconstruct it, you're like, "Oh, he's talking about the stock market." Because bull market, bear market, and then pigs get slaughtered, like greedy people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, oh, what a genius aspect of that. Or like even other, I feel like that's the only music that, rappers do it too. They have like play on words that have like double entendres.
Right.
So I feel like Elon Musk is one of those people, because like his plaid thing, people are like, oh, plaid, why would you name it plaid? It's like, no, it's from Spaceballs. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what a genius, dude. It's like the fastest thing you can move on Spaceballs.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you understand the path, that's why I'm like, oh, what a cool guy. You can deconstruct. Like, why do you call it inspiration? Because you want to inspire people. Why is it 4? Because there's 4 paths to inspiration. What are the 4 paths? Okay.
There was multiple meanings to the 4 too. It's 4 passengers. It's also like the 4th like mission that I think SpaceX has done with people in it.
Yeah.
From American soil, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's also like that. There's multiple meanings to 4, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar did it too. Duckworth, his song Duckworth. It's a story about 3 people with 3 different beats from 3 different countries. And like, see what I mean? It's like, but we listen to the song Duckworth and we're like, okay, that's a cool song. But if you're a true artist about your craft, I think that's what it is. True artists have like substance,
right?
You know what I mean? Like because I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar lately. To Pimp a Butterfly, it was originally going to be called To Pimp a Caterpillar, right?
Right.
Because he wanted to make the acronym Tupac,
right?
And then in the whole album, it's about a girl named Lucy, but Lucy is short for Lucifer. So it's actually not it sounds like kind of like a misogynistic thing, but he meant it that way because like the songs are about greed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, but if you
yeah.
look at its surface value, you're like, oh, that's a cool song. But it's like, no, dude, there's like layers to this thing. Like Elon Musk has those layers. And I think that's why I'm so like, awe by him.
Or the team of SpaceX who planned these things out. Yeah.
But sure, totally. The team,
maybe he has to approve everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like, yeah, totally. Like Kendrick Lamar didn't come up with the beat. You know, the three different layers. He's just like, but we're going in this direction. Yeah. I need the people to help me get to that path. Yeah. And it's like genius is like that. Yeah.
But what I liked in here is like, even though it's SpaceX is Elon Musk's thing, but he's in it for a very short amount of time. Like it's more about it's more about
even that's a genius move.
It's more about the like, 4 people.
Even so, but see what I mean? There's another genius tactic. He's like, it's not about me, guys. Unlike the other ones, this is about humanity.
Yeah.
So like that's the altruistic epitome, artistic genius of like being an artist. Okay. To circle back to our original topic, now you can see why I said that thing was also a genius, an evil genius. But like, if hitting the towers triggered economic meltdown, that would cripple America, not only like visually and through like like lives being lost catastrophe, but like a financial catastrophe too. So it's like,
genius. Like that's the low point for us humans, right? Like
the genius.
I mean, like devastation wise, the stuff that he had created.
From their perspective, it's like, what a genius to have come up with that for us.
Sure,
because he was fighting for
his I get it. Yeah,
and his religion.
Right, yeah, and I mean, war in general, it's like,
well, one is about creation and one's about destruction.
Yeah.
So like,
which is all part of life, right?
That's what I mean. And so like, if you think about it in this way, it's like they're just expressions of creative genius. But yeah, it's one is about it's yin yang. That's why I like that's why I like the Tao symbol. Yeah. Going back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Anything else?
No, inspiration.
Yeah. All right. So let's hope that. Well, I guess we'll talk about it next week.
As long as everything goes well.
And if everything goes bad, you'll hear about that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and Apple. Oh, cool. Next week we'll actually have the answers. We'll have the Apple and the inspiration.
Sure.
All right. Until next time. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.